Am I the a-hole? Annoying siblings edition. Am I the a-hole for sneaking out and causing my sister to lose her job? My sister is 33 and I'm 14. She had a baby 3 months ago. I just got out of school for the summer and really wanted to rest, but my sister decided she wants to finally get a job. Now she's making me babysit my niece. I have zero experience with babies and I get overstimulated easily. It's been really hard for me. I asked her if she could put the baby in daycare or something, but she refused. I decided to just suck it up, but it's been exhausting. I have insomnia, and it's hard to sleep when I feel like I need to be awake 24/7 to watch the baby. I'm constantly scared something might happen if I fall asleep. I told my mom how I felt, but she said I just have to deal with it. Both my parents work, so I'm left alone with the baby for hours almost every day. A few days ago, I got tired of everything. The night before my sister got ready to go back to work, I snuck out and went to my friend's house so I wouldn't have to deal with it and could finally get some sleep. When I came home the morning after, I saw all the missed calls and messages, and my mom and sister were really mad at me. They said I was being selfish and lazy. My sister even quit her job because I told her I'd leave again if she kept making me babysit. I definitely felt bad after. It feels like my whole family is barely talking to me except for my dad, and even he said I shouldn't have done that. For context, I love my niece. The reason I don't want to take care of her is not because I don't like her. She is adorable. Before you can ask why other members of the family can't take care of the baby, I'll explain. My dad works in different places with steel work, so he's very rarely home. My niece's father doesn't want anything to do with her or my sister. It's been that way since she was pregnant, so she left him and moved back in with us. She had a job before, but quit to take care of the baby when she was a newborn and up until now, of course. Her and my mom work at the same place. They're both night shift jobs, and they're tired when they come home from working, so I usually have to watch my niece a bit longer so they can rest when they get home. They expect me to sleep while I'm babysitting, but I just can't. I'm so paranoid something could happen. Even when I'm feeding the baby and she coughs even a little, or if she's sleeping too hard, I panic. So, am I the a-hole for having left the day before my sister went back to work? Top comments. Comment 1. You're not the a-hole. You did what you did out of desperation. Sit down with your mom and dad and say calmly, my sister is 33. She chose to have a child, and that means it is her responsibility to figure out childcare instead of trying to steal my childhood from me. You're being irresponsible parents by allowing her to abuse me in this way. I will not be babysitting again, and if I'm left alone with the child again, or I will call the police and report child abandonment. Comment 2. 100% not the a-hole. To expect a 14-year-old to be the sole care provider for an infant is insane. Was she paying you? If not, then you're not obligated to take care of her child. She is the mother. She is the one who needs to figure it out. Girl, go enjoy your summer. Comment 3. I was forced to babysit my nephew at 15 because my sister and parents refused to do so I missed out on a lot. One day, my older sister came home for deployment and chewed my mom out because she saw how I was being treated. Not even a little bit the a-hole. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my sister? I was invited to my niece's 6th birthday party. Apparently, one of the parents at my niece's school, named Jen, offered to host the birthday party at her place with little additional cost for my sister. My sister, Nadia, and Jen's children are very close, so the generous offer makes sense. It's worth mentioning that Jen threw a quite spectacular and expensive birthday party for my niece. There were several bouncy castles, face painters, good catering, etc. My husband is an OBGYN. People have made comments about men in that field, or how it must be so hard dating a doctor. Most of the time, these comments are harmless and don't bother me. At first, I thought Jen was so sweet. I've never seen my niece so happy. The kids were having the time of their lives, and the adults were getting along well. I made a comment about my husband, making small talk, and Jen started to ask rather invasive questions. At first, I thought she was just overly curious, but then she grew bolder and made me more uncomfortable. The questions were like, does it bother you that your husband looks at other women all day? And what if your husband finds a woman prettier than you? I told her that her questions were making me a bit uncomfortable and to stop, and she stopped for a while. I was talking to Jen's kid, and Jen approached me. She was back to her questions, but this time I found them a bit inappropriate. She asked me whether or not my husband was good in bed, whether he brings gynecology into the bedroom, and if he would be willing to look at her. I don't know if I was just not in the right headspace or something like that, but I was just done with her. Immediately after the cake cutting, I said goodbye to my niece and left. I know I had promised to help Jen and Nadia clean up, but I was just so tired of Jen at this point. Nadia called me, very upset, claiming that I embarrassed her in front of Jen, especially after her grand gesture of kindness. Jen was more annoyed, saying that I was overreacting and that I should have been kinder to her and not have been such a jealous bitch. I feel a bit bad. I'm not one to break promises, and I feel a bit dramatic leaving after a few uncomfortable questions when I could have just sucked it up and then never have seen Jen again after the party. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Comment 1. Not the a-hole. Jen sounds like a poop stirrer, and I'm surprised that your sister can't see through her odd behavior. Comment 2. Not the a-hole. You were right to leave. Jen asking if your husband would be willing to look at her. Cripes. You really need to learn a better response to shut a-holes like this down. Try this. The next time, look her up and down, and then shrug your shoulders in a dismissive way and answer, probably not. Comment 3. Not the a-hole. Some of her questions weren't terribly bad. It could be just basic curiosity. But then to escalate that into talk of jealousy in your sex life and follow that up with asking to be seen by him is unacceptable. I don't think I would have handled myself as coolly as you did. A cake to her face and a free body slam into a bouncy house would have been more my style. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for losing my temper at sister-in-law after she ruined the meal I made? My sister-in-law, Ashley, is, for lack of a nicer word, obnoxious. She constantly does whatever she wants, even when you ask her not to. She thinks she's right above everyone else, even when she's dead wrong. And she's just got this very stereotypical baby sister attitude, where she acts like she can do whatever she wants and nobody is allowed to be mad at her, because, quote-unquote, she's a baby. Yes, that's something she regularly says. My husband says she's the youngest of their family, so her acting that way is normal. But I pointed out I'm the youngest of my family, and I've never acted that way. I don't like Ashley, but I've been polite and kept a peaceful relationship for my husband's sake. Until today. Today was the first time in a long time that my husband or I have been able to see our small friend group in person. I cooked while our friends either pitched in ingredients, made appetizers, or brought wine. I made pasta ravioli by hand, which was hard. I made enough for me, my husband, and our friends. But after they arrived and we all caught up while I was finishing the food, Ashley showed up. She let herself in and greeted everyone happily. They know her and said hi, but I subtly asked my husband what she was doing here. Turns out he mentioned the gathering to her, and he guessed she assumed she was invited. I told him to tell her to leave because she can't just invite herself like this. He said that would be humiliating for her and asked if she could stay. I was annoyed but agreed. Things were fine at the start. I had a few sips of wine to relax and was about to plate everyone's food at the kitchen island and bring it to them, but forgot to add the Parmesan, so went to get it. I heard Ashley say she'd help bring the food to the table, and I said no thanks and that she should stay seated. My back was to her, and she said something I missed because of the loud clang of a pot hitting the floor. I heard everyone gasp, and I closed my eyes. I knew what happened, but didn't want to look. When I did, I just started crying. Hours of work splattered on the floor. Ashley said it was okay, that it was just some pasta, and that she would buy more. I lost it. I called her a stupid bitch that ruined the entire dinner because she refuses to listen. She started boo-hooing, and I told her to shut up and leave. She ran out crying, and I sat down to cry too. Our friends consoled me, and my husband tried to say I went too far, but our friends told him he was an asshole and that Ashley was in the wrong. They helped clean, and we ordered pizza. After they left, my husband and I were flooded with calls from his family, saying I was a horrible spoiled brat who made their baby cry over some stupid food. Now I'm just crying and feeling like garbage. Did I go too far? I don't usually get so angry or curse. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Comment 1. You're the a-hole, but a justified a-hole. From her perspective and her brother's, your husband's, you went nuclear. She's highly entitled and has been brought up this way, so you can't change her. And from your story, her family still continues to encourage her. Maybe she's clumsy, maybe she spilled it on purpose, but either way, you're not going unspoil the food. This may not be your hill to die on, but if she glamours in being the baby, play along. Start saying things like, oh no, no wine for you, you're still baby. And, no, thanks, I don't need help, this is a big girl thing, maybe when you're bigger. Or even, sorry, this dinner is for grown-ups and your baby. I'm incredibly petty though, so that's what I would do. Comment 2. Not the a-hole. Offer to apologize to her after she comes over and cooks that recipe from scratch for you. Comment 3. Not the a-hole. You've got a bigger issue than your sister-in-law, and that is a husband problem. A marriage where a partner puts the wants and needs of others before their partners is not sustainable. You guys need to have a serious talk and more than likely therapy. Update. My husband said he understands I'm upset the food was wasted, but he doesn't think my outburst was warranted and was actually kind of extreme. Tomorrow is his off day, and I told him he's going to be making the dish like I did, by hand and on his own, and then at the end, we'll see if he thinks my outburst was unwarranted. Update number 2. Well, my husband made pasta for the first time today, and it went much like I'd anticipated. He was all confidence, saying it'll be easy during the first 30 minutes. But towards the end of the first hour, that disappeared as the exhaustion in his arms really set in from making enough dough for almost 60 ravioli. I didn't lift a finger to help him knead, since I didn't get any help when I did it. After the dough was done and wrapped up in the fridge, he made the filling, which took another 40 or so minutes. Then the dough was brought out, and he had to start crafting the ravioli, all by hand after rolling the dough out. That went on for ages, just rolling some dough out, cutting out squares, filling them, and putting the top on, rinse and repeat until the dough and filling was all gone. All in all, the entire process from start to finish for him on his own took a little over 4 hours. And that's with us not actually cooking any of the ravioli. Also, he didn't make any sauce or cook any shrimp for the ravioli to be served with, and he didn't prepare any salad like I had done. And when I told him this, that there was still more to do, he almost started crying. He started saying sorry at the 1 hour mark and hasn't stopped apologizing since. We had a long talk about his sister and the dinner she ruined, the other time she's pulled similar incidents, there are a lot of them, and how him and his family always let her get away with it. He says he knows how they treat her isn't normal, and he doesn't like it, but was raised to just go with the flow regarding Ashley. But he said he's going to call her and tell her we need some space from her for now. Update number 3. My husband just got a message from his cousin with a recording of Ashley laughing and bragging about intentionally spilling the pasta to teach me a lesson for being such a snobby bitch. I have never seen my husband this pissed off before. I don't. Tino, what's going to happen now? Final update. My husband went to confront his family, and Ashley denied everything until he played the recording. He banned Ashley from our house until she apologized to me sincerely and reimbursed us for all of the wasted food. Ashley went ballistic, sobbing and throwing a massive tantrum until my mother-in-law tried calming her down and started scolding my husband for choosing some floozy over his blood family. This made my husband flip and call out his family on their weird babying of Ashley, saying they'd made her into a spoiled monster. This just started a huge screaming match between all of them before he said he wasn't speaking to them for the foreseeable future before storming out. That's when he called me and told me to block all of his family, and before I could hang up, I started getting tons of calls and texts from all of them, just saying the most hateful stuff to me. All of my socials, from my personal Instagram to my work email, were bombarded with hate until I managed to block all of them, but it took weeks for them to all stop. The only people in my husband's family who weren't harassing us were his paternal grandparents, his maternal grandmother, a few of his cousins on both sides, and his paternal aunts and uncles. Actually, I think all of the hate was from his maternal side, though not all of them. After blocking them, all things were peaceful until a few weeks later, when our friend Kelly's car was vandalized really badly when she stayed at our house for the weekend. The sides were keyed, all the tires were slashed, the windows were spray painted, and they even tore off the tag and shoved it down in the driver's side door where the window slides down. We checked the doorbell camera, and it was Ashley and my brother-in-law. Seems they mistook Kelly's car for mine. I had lent my car to my mom since hers needed new tires, and I could use my husband's if needed. Both Kellys in my car are black. Needless to say, we called the cops, and Kelly pressed charges on both of them. Thankfully, with the video evidence, she said she was able to make a no-fault claim against Ashley, who had insurance, and Kelly got her repairs paid for, though barely. Ashley and my brother-in-law are getting arrested caused a huge rift in my husband's family between those who don't think it was necessary that they be arrested and those who think they got what was coming to them. Also, the arrest cost my brother-in-law his job at university. My husband's cousin Brenda informed us that during the whole family drama thing, it was revealed that Ashley is only their half-sister, according to the maternal grandmother. Seems she verbally tore my mother-in-law to pieces after she insinuated that Ashley hadn't done anything to deserve this treatment. Brenda said their grandmother said, "You felt bad that your husband didn't love her because he knew she was just your shameful affair baby, so you love her more than your other kids in some twisted effort to make up for it. And you pulled your other kids into doing it too, and all you did was succeed in spoiling her rotten." Honestly, hearing all of that was unbelievable for me. I had no idea this level of drama was buried in my husband's family. Then again, neither did he. And all of this snowballed from a ruined ravioli dinner. My husband and I have decided to distance ourselves from that part of his family for now. After handing Kelly a copy of the video of her car being vandalized, we more or less washed our hands of dealing with them all. Both my husband and I feel way less stressed. So maybe it was not such a terrible end. What did you think of these Reddit stories? Do you agree with the readers' verdicts? Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We publish stories with new topics several times a week. From Reddit Stories Bonanza, we wish you an amazing week.